1968 was a time of turmoil in America. Civil rights, abortion rights, Vietnam. Now, more than ever, Agnes yearned to do her own show, her own way. Timely topics, less formula, more humor. The upstart network, ABC, had no problem with that. Agnes was offered her own show, and she accepted, asking Bob to handle the money matters.
I think both my parents were ahead of their time. I mean, they couldn't have done it alone, and they agreed early on that they would both have this family together, and they would both have their careers. And that was really unheard of. And I know that my father took a lot of ribbing about that from the guys.
Agnes and Bob called their new company Creative Horizons, signifying that Agnes finally had total creative control of a show. She named it One Life to Live.
Most soaps, when they are new, they're like new colts who stumble on their feet trying to get a footing. One Life, by comparison, because it was so terribly different, and because there were such brilliant people doing it, almost went off like a rocket, went straight up.
Agnes created the new show around 4 families. In a total break with tradition, 2 were working class, including the first black family on daytime.
I'm sorry. You know, they had me running today. I guess I'm just tired.
Sadie Gay was Agnes's longtime friend and housekeeper. Agnes had never before taken a character from whole cloth, but she felt it was time for a notable exception.
I always said, Sadie, when I have my own show, I'll name a character after you, because I certainly knew that when I had my own show, it would have an integrated cast. And so, indeed, when One Life went on, there was Sadie Gray.
It was a pivotal character. Sadie was at the core of Agnes's first provocative storyline.
3 months into the show, onto the show comes a white actress called Carla Benari. In the midst of a nervous breakdown, she takes herself to Landview Hospital, and through a combination of her glamour and her neediness, attracts 2 doctors to her side. One doctor is white, one doctor is black. She gets engaged to the white doctor, but starts falling in love with the black doctor. She kisses the black doctor, and bang.
There were loud protests. A station in Texas canceled the show, but Agnes's storyline of interracial romance went on for over 6 months. Finally, on a Friday show in the last 2 minutes, Agnes has Carla and Sadie come face to face for the first time. The top secret twist Agnes had planned all along was then revealed. Carla had been posing as white to help her acting career. She was Sadie's long-lost daughter, and Ellen Holly, who played Carla, was actually a black actress.
But you didn't. And of course, what was so interesting about all of it is that Agnes had not done it to give the audience a cheap thrill. She was doing something much, much more fascinating. Because anybody that changed their mind about who Carla Benari was after that Friday revelation and started looking at her Monday morning in a very different way had learned something about themselves.
I got a letter from a man in Seattle, Washington, which was obviously written over a number of weeks toward the denouement of this story, and he started the letter objecting to Carla, that white girl, kissing the black intern. But then he rambled on about the story, and then he said, but now I'm getting confused, and if she turns out to be black, I want to protest her kissing the white doctor she was engaged to.
One Life to Live was a huge success. Agnes's determination to take on tough issues attracted a whole new audience, college kids.
I had watched in college One Life to Live, and I had seen under the screen there was a drug storyline on One Life to Live, and I had watched as at the end they would say you can call Phoenix House, I think was the name of the hotline number was given, and I knew she had a social conscience.
Agnes also had a gift for spotting talent. Like a 12-year-old she once saw in a TV movie.
Agnes Nixon saw this show and saw my performance in it and really was kind of taken with me, and she decided to sort of create this role for a kid my age and all that stuff, and that was how I got cast on One Life to Live.
Around the same time, Agnes also spotted 2 other young actors and gave them roles on One Life to Live. Tom Berenger and Tommy Lee Jones.
These people were actors. They were real actors, and I was kind of awed by them and honored to be in their presence. And I just kind of followed them around and tried to emulate them and, you know, be as sort of professional as I could at a very early age.
About a year later, the network pressed Agnes to come up with another show. In the detailed outline of the show, which insiders call the Bible, Agnes described Pine Valley, a town with roots deep in pre-revolutionary American soil. One family lived in a white colonial house with black shutters, a house just like Agnes's near Philadelphia. A family photo album was the open of the show, an album quite like the one in Agnes's family for generations. Agnes named her new creation, All My Children.
All my children is the supreme being talking. But no matter what her name is or his, and so we all are God's children, and it is our basic theme is the brotherhood of man.
Actually, Agnes had the concept for All My Children years earlier. She even wrote several scripts while on a family vacation. When it was time to go home, she packed her only copies in a suitcase the airline lost.
The reason it was put in a suitcase was because my son had 12 conch shells he wanted to bring back, and so we put them in. We had to carry those in the thing. We had so much to carry that I had to put the scripts in the suitcase. There but for a conch shell.
Agnes was resigned that her work was gone forever. She philosophically figured that All My Children just wasn't right yet. Within a month, the suitcase was found. Within 5 years, her show was exactly right. Auditions were held before All My Children premiered in January of 1970. A recent college graduate named Susan Lucci auditioned for the part of 15-year-old Erica Kane.
Erica wanted to put her mascara on to prepare for her math tutor. Her mother, Mona, thought she should probably study math to prepare for her math tutor. And they were fighting, really, but it was full of humor, and you knew they loved each other underneath. And it seemed to me to be the most realistic scene I had ever read.
I don't want to be down anywhere with the rest of you. I want to be special, and I'm going to be.
I think she was the one who blazed the trail, yes, on the idea of social relevance. And I don't think any show did it until she did it back in the early 70s. And she also brought a sense of humor to the show, which was unheard of before in the soaps.
You? Talented? Uh-huh. And she also says that I'm beautiful. Beautiful? Oh, you're not even blonde.
Like Rachel before her, Erica was sexy, saucy, and self-absorbed, capable of anything to get what she wanted.
That must be Erica now.
But Agnes gave Erica a reason for her behavior. Erica was abandoned by her father as a child, just like Agnes was.
I do believe that.
And now Erica can't get enough approval, enough love.
I, Erica, take you, Tom. I do.
Pronounce us Mary. We've got a plane to catch.
All My Children had a fanatical following. Women, men, the college crowd. Agnes churned out story after story, but she yearned to tell a more personal one, the story of her Irish ancestors. Coming up, Agnes creates a prime-time saga inspired by her own family history, as All My Children attracts celebrities who not only watch the show, they show up on All My Children.